guys, welcome back to Between the Pylons. I'm John Camacho. Thank you so much for watching. And guys, today we are talking about Breece Hall, running back out of Iowa State. And this dude has been killing it at the college level for a couple years now. In his final year at Iowa State, he did put up 251 attempts for 1,460 rushing yards and added an extra 310 yards through the air and 20 total touchdowns. This dude had an amazing college career, and now he is going to take his talents to the NFL draft. I believe this is a surefire day 2 pick at the very least. I consider him to be right in that same range as a Javonte Williams for last year, who went, I believe, 35 to the Denver Broncos, somewhere in that range at least. So that's the type of guy we're talking about today. Not the exact same player by any means. Let's get right into that right now with his skill chart here. So let's start at the top here. Vision 6.4. Yeah, he's super instinctual runner. That's really the first thing that jumps out to you. He does have a lot of runs to the outside. I did notice that he's certainly better, running to the outside than he is, between the tackles. But I think that was more of a scheme thing with Iowa State than it really is his ability. I think he's fine both inside and outside. And I think he just has such a vision for cutback length, such a good instinct for second level blockers and really understanding the game. You can tell that it's slowed down for him, especially at the college level. It's really good. Agility at a 6.5. Yeah, his ability to jump cut, his ability to change directions quickly, yeah, it is really good. I'm not going to say elite. I'm not going to say his explosiveness out of his cuts is, unlike anything I've ever seen, but it's really positive, and it's something that definitely is going to be something that teams value and teams will look at as a positive in his game. Moving right along to contact balance at a 6.7. Yeah, that's a huge part of his game. He is the guy. He's a big-bodied, bruising running back at times, or at least he can be. I'm not saying that's what he is and solely is, but it's a huge part of his game in the sense that, yeah, he will run through contact. He will punish linebackers, safeties, cornerbacks, all of them. He has a really good sense. He plays with square shoulders, and he always seems to have them perpendicular to the field. So he does everything that you want to see from that standpoint on a technical level, and just naturally, he's a tough dude to bring down. At every, it's as simple as that. He's a tough dude to bring down. And then we get to explosiveness at a 5.1, and while that is not a negative grade for me, 4.5 is my baseline average to, that's where you really have question as to what's wrong with this part of their game. So it's a little bit more of a checks the box grade. I don't dislike it, but when you're talking about a guy who I currently have as the 3rd best running back in this class, and he's a good bit behind the other 2 guys in this class for me anyway. And a big part of the reason why that is because his explosiveness is just okay. He's not a guy who's going to take the ball 60 yards to the house. That's not really what he is. And I'm going to kind of couple that with the opposite side of the skill tree, which is short area quickness. And at a 5.6, it's good. Again, another checks the box grade, and is a little bit better than explosiveness at a 5.1. And the reason for that is he is very shifty, and he does have good quick movements out of cuts and everything, and it's fine. It's good, but he's not just ridiculously great in a phone booth type of thing, the way like an Isaiah Spiller is in this class, who I've already done a draft profile on. So it's all right from an athletic standpoint, from a speed and agility standpoint. Agility a little bit better than both of these grades. I think he moves really well laterally and all those things. But from this standpoint, yeah, it's fine. It's certainly above average just as an overall player. But that's where you're getting to. This is why he's not going in the 1st round. This is why he's not considered the top running back in the class. And I just like to differentiate there. It's not something you should be worried about by any means. It's still a guy that I do think can be a feature back in the NFL and be a really damn good one at that. Let's get to the other big negative of his game. Really, truly, the only real negative of his game is pass protection. And it's as simple as this. He is more than willing to throw his shoulder into a block. He is more than willing to get in the way. that's the extent of it. I think from a technique standpoint, needs a lot of work. And that's just something, you know, a lot of guys coming out of college don't have that part of their game as a pro. And to be totally honest, on top of that, if he's not running the ball, he's usually running a route. So he wasn't asked to do it a whole lot at the college level. It's something that's going to need work, but it's not something I'm really, really worried about. I think, you know, one NFL training camp, he'll probably have it down to a level where you can trust him to, you know, be a protector in the backfield on a regular basis. All right, moving on to power to 6.6. It's a big part of his game. He runs with great power. He runs over people. He can make people miss too, but really he's just, the first guy doesn't bring him down. Almost never at the college level. First guy just doesn't bring him down. He's that type of guy. Pass catching, I put it at 4.8. Yeah, I don't think this is a guy, again, it's a positive grade. He put up 310 yards through the air this past year. So a good bit of usage through the air, and Iowa State certainly didn't just not use him. I just never saw him catching the ball out of the backfield and thought, yeah, I see this translating to the NFL as him being a pass-catching running back. And that's how I grade the pass catching. Will he be a target of teams that want him as a pass-catching running back? And I just don't think that is what it is. I think he can do it. I think he'll be fine with it. He will be a perfectly fine security blanket option in the flats when the first two reads are not open and the defender is crashing down on him. That's what he'll be. And he'll be good at that, and I don't really have any issue with that. That's why at 4.8, it's a little bit above average, but beyond that, I just don't think he'll be a difference maker in the passing game. I could be wrong on that. Maybe he goes to a team that utilizes running backs out of the backfield and a real big part of their offense, and he has the opportunity to show that he can do that. I'm not saying he can't by any means, just not something that I really saw. Breaking tackles is a 7.8. I've mentioned it multiple times. That's what he does. First guy doesn't bring him down. That's his game. That's really, you watch the highlight reel of him, you'll see him make multiple people miss and make multiple people wrong because they just can't bring him down. I mean, that's just as simple as that. Great contact balance, runs with great power, great pad level, all those things, and breaks a lot of tackles doing it. Ability in the open field at a 5.7. Look, if he gets in the open field, he's gonna get faster the more he's running, right? He's one of those guys, he builds up speed throughout the run. He's not a guy who is going 0 to 60 in the first two steps. He's not a guy who's just putting on the jets after making two people miss and taking it for a big gain. That's just not what he is. He's not a true burner like that. So I'm not going to give him an elite grade in that range. But at a 5.7, still really good. Good at what he does. His game is power. His game is the ability to make people miss, the ability to run through contact, all of those things. And he's good at what he does. And then short area quickness, I already touched on. That is Breece Hall in a nutshell. I think we're talking about a guy who I just can't imagine a world where he falls out of the second round. The only other really big part of his game that I think you got to talk about is his tread on the tires. Yeah, he's been utilized a lot at Iowa State. Coming out of his third season with Iowa State, he has over 700 rushing attempts and then a little bit over 100 receptions total. So what is that? That's 800 touches. That's a lot for anybody. That's a whole lot for a running back. And I would like to talk about the economics of the running back position, the way it is in the NFL right now, and why I just don't really look at that as a big problem. Yes, it's something to think about. Yes, some people, I think, overanalyze it a little bit more than it needs to be. At the end of the day, you don't really draft a running back for the second contract. You just don't. If you draft a linebacker in the second round, you're drafting him with the best case scenario being that you'll get 8 years out of him, right? When you draft a running back in the second round, you're thinking 4 years. That's the extent of it. That just is what it is. That's the economy of being a running back in the NFL. It's why you don't see a whole lot get drafted in the first round, and if you do, it's by a team usually trying to make a push or thinks they have a really good offense that needs an elite piece at the running back position. More often than not, that's what you see when you have a running back drafted in the first round, and really you don't see a whole lot of success from teams that draft a running back in the first round all told. All right, Jaguars did this past year. They're picking first overall, right? So again, that's a very, very circumstantial example, but it just speaks to the fact that you just don't see it a whole lot. I don't think tread on the tires is as big a deal as some people make it out to be, because you just don't expect a whole lot of tread in the NFL anyway. If you're a workhorse running back for 5 years, you're gonna see a little bit of decline athletically in that 6th year. The freaks of freaks of freaks are the only ones you don't see it from. So I know I'm gonna hop off my my soapbox here a little bit and finish the conversation with Breece Hall. Again, I've said it a handful of times, just as far as where I think he should go. Anywhere in the 2nd round is going to be something that I'm going to like. I do think he's Javonte Williams-ish, and I do think he should go in that same kind of range. Javonte Williams got drafted early 2nd round, and part of that was because there was a little bit of a drop-off after him in that draft class, in my opinion anyway, and I think the NFL agrees, because I don't think there was another running back drafted a little bit after that. I'm sorry, I'm getting off topic. So anywhere in that early to mid-range 2nd round, depends on where the first 2 guys go, for me at least. I do think he is a clear 3rd running back in this class as of right now. Again, I haven't watched everybody. I think I've watched all the big names, and I think he's going to end up being my number 3. All right, I feel like I've talked too much. I'm going to be done. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe. Let me know what you think about Breece Hall. Let me know if there's anybody you want me to do a draft profile on in the comments. Really, really appreciate the comments. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Peace.